Welcome, everyone. I'm Kaliraho, your presenter, and I'm so excited to share this incredible spiritual journey with you. Today, I want to invite you to explore one of the most beautiful and transformative works in Christian spirituality, the Dialogue by Saint Catherine of Siena. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A book from the 1370s? How could that possibly be relevant to my life today? But trust me, this 650-year-old conversation between God and the soul is exactly what we need in our modern world. We'll discover God's voice speaking directly to your soul. Let's dive in together and see why this course is for you.
A medieval mystic who transformed the church. Before we dive into her writings, let's talk a little bit about this saint herself. Saint Catherine of Siena was truly a force of nature. She was born in Italy during a really chaotic time. Think plague, political upheaval, and deep divisions in the church. Even though she was just a laywoman, a Dominican tertiary, she started having profound mystical visions from the time she was 6 years old. What I love about Catherine is that she wasn't just a quiet mystic hidden away. She was a spiritual advisor to popes and politicians, and she wasn't afraid to speak truth to power. She is one of only 4 women to be named a doctor of the church, which is a huge deal. Her masterwork, the Dialogue, which we'll be studying, was actually dictated while she was in a state of ecstasy. Pretty amazing, right?
The Dialogue, a conversation with God. So what exactly is the Dialogue? Well, it was written between 1377 and 1378, and it is structured exactly as it sounds, as a conversation between Catherine's soul and God the Father. It's broken down into 4 main treatises that cover God's providence, discretion, prayer, and obedience. But if there is one central theme you take away from this entire book, it's this: self-knowledge leads to knowledge of God. It's a timeless piece of wisdom that is just as relevant for navigating our spiritual journeys today as it was in the 14th century. The foundation. I am who is, you are she who is not. This brings us to the foundational truth of Catherine's spirituality. God tells her, I am who is, you are she who is not. Now, at first glance, that might sound a little harsh or diminishing, but it's actually incredibly freeing. It means recognizing that God's being is absolute, while ours is dependent on Him. When we realize our own nothingness without God, it frees us from the exhausting burden of false self-reliance. It opens our hands to receive God's everything. Humility is the gateway here. Catherine warns us that self-knowledge without knowing God just leads to despair. But knowing God without knowing ourselves leads to pride. We need both.
The inner cell of the soul. To cultivate this knowledge, Catherine invites us into what she calls the inner cell. Now, this isn't a physical room with stone walls. It's a state of interior recollection. She tells us to build a cell inside your mind from which you can never flee. I love this concept because it means that even in the middle of your busiest, most chaotic day, whether you're stuck in traffic or dealing with a stressful situation at work, you have this interior sanctuary you can retreat to. It's the place where we turn inward to meet the God who already dwells within us. The call to self-knowledge. And what do we do in that inner cell? We seek self-knowledge. As we mentioned earlier, this is the beginning of all spiritual growth. We have to be willing to look in the mirror and see ourselves as we truly are, beloved yet broken, gifted yet limited. It's an honest self-examination that reveals our incredible dignity as people made in God's image, alongside our finite, fallen nature. Holding both of these truths together keeps us grounded in humility and hope. As Catherine hears from God, in knowing yourself, you will know me. Discussion questions for week 1. Now, I want to turn it over to you all. Let's take some time to reflect and share. We have 3 questions to guide our discussion. First, what was your first impression of St. Catherine? And did anything surprise you? Second, what does the idea of an inner cell mean to you in the context of your busy life? And finally, how does that concept of knowing yourself to know God feel to you? Is it exciting? Intimidating? Let's break into our groups and dive in. Weekly challenge: 10 minutes a day with God. As we wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with a practical challenge for the week. I'm asking you to spend just 10 minutes each day in quiet reflection. During that time, ask God to show you 2 things. One truth about yourself, maybe a gift, a struggle, or a deep desire, and one truth about Him. Try to choose a consistent time and place. You can start with a simple prayer like, "Lord, help me see myself as you see me." I highly recommend journaling your insights, and above all, be patient with yourself. This is a gradual process. Reading for this week. To help you with this challenge, here is your reading assignment for the week. Please read the introduction to your edition of The Dialogue, along with the selected passages on self-knowledge and God's nature. Pay special attention to those opening sections where God reveals Himself as He who is. As you read, pay attention to what resonates with you and what challenges you. Both of those reactions are invitations from God to go deeper. Welcome to the inner cell. I want to close with this beautiful quote from Catherine. "The soul cannot live without love. She always wants to love something because love is the stuff she is made of. And through love, I created her." This week, I invite you to step into that inner cell. Meet yourself. Meet God. Let the journey begin. Thank you all so much, and have a blessed week.